you
This
to
conference
understand.
will now be recorded.
Okay. So there are a couple of things which I need to understand. Firstly, like how many years of experience you have, and particularly which domain of experience which you have. And this information, why it is necessary for me, because then I will understand my audience for today. And based on that, it will help me to focus on the further discussion. Okay. And obviously, I will also introduce myself. I will share with my knowledge, my experience, and after all, we are going to talk about whatever we have to discuss today. Okay. So yeah, in the meantime, coordinator, can you please give me the presenter access to the instance which is the name as MDG uppercase? I can see there is one more MDG, but the MDG which is in uppercase. So that instance you can give me the access. Okay, thank you. I received that. Okay, so we can start then. Mm, a quick introduction, and then we will jump into the actual discussion. So, yeah, can we start with Shankar?
Yeah, sure. My name is Shankar. Actually, I'm a strong FICO consultant for almost 15 years, and I have worked on many MDG enhancements on GL and funds management. And the purpose of my doing this course is to understand the technical aspects of MDG because I'm likely to work on a project on MDG 2023 very soon. So that's the reason actually I'm interested in signing up this course, and also like to know the concept, the content of what you guys cover. So that's my background.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, I can see one more Shankar Krishna.
Good evening. I'm Shankar. So I have worked as a sales person in 1.5 years experience I have in sales domain. So I'm going to transition to SAP. I'm planning to. So currently I'm learning SAP ERP sales S4HANA. So I don't know much about the MDG course. So I just wanted to know more about this course and whether it will fit my like career, how it will be for me.
Okay, understand. Okay, I'll help you. Okay, thank you. Okay, can
Thank
we, yeah, can we go to the next Vishal Sinha?
Hi everyone, this is Vishal Sinha, and I have kind of SAP experience more than 15 years, almost 18 that will be in this January because I started my career in SAP around 2007. So yeah, and most of the experience I have in the SAP app, plus I have the data experience as well. I have worked as a SAP data analyst as well. An MDG experience, if I say that, then I have been part of the MDG um, implementation in my organization, and it was mainly done for BP, which is business partner, and now we are planning or moving towards the MDG finance. So I am looking mainly to deep dive into this one from both technical functional aspect, and my goal is basically to become a MDG certified consultant. Thanks.
Okay, fine, understand. Thank you. Okay, now I can move to the next one. I think uh, the person who just written MDG, I'm not sure what is his name or her name. User 10. I can see there are couple of person. Can you please unmute yourself and introduce yourself? The person who identify as a user 10, can you please introduce yourself? Okay, I cannot hear anything. And one more time, the last time, the person who is written as MDG, lowercase, can you please introduce yourself? Okay, fine. I'm not sure. Okay, sorry, I have a mic issue. So, okay, so user 10 responded in the chat. Uh, so the user is having the mic issue. Okay, no problem. So that's fine. Okay, so then let's introduce myself. So myself, Aditya. I have overall 15 years of experience in SAP. I started my career as SAP ABAPer, and then I moved to SAP first MDM and then MDG. Since 2000, late 2013, I, I started my journey with SAP MDG, and since then I have been part of the various projects where I have supported mainly material master, business partner, including customer and vendor and finance master. And the project which are I have supported, those are kind of manufacturing, retail, mainly manufacturing projects. One of the project was a retail project as well, and there was one more project which was related to agriculture. Okay, so these are the projects which I have been, or these are the industry area which have been uh, associated with MDG implementation and support. Okay, so I'm also a certified person, and the thing is that whatever I have learned about MDG, I will share my experience in this discussion, and so the idea is very simple that after having this discussion, we want you to be capable enough that you can start MDG implementation or support operations and contribute yourself independently. That is the whole objective of this. Okay. In this particular discussion, okay, first of all, there will be a lot of questions in your mind. Okay. I would request you to hold all your questions. Let me first finish whatever I have to share with you. Okay, and then I will open the floor, and I'm sure that by the time I will open the floor, you will get a lot of answers of your questions. Okay, because some of the questions are always very common questions. Okay, and I will answer them. There will be some more questions which are very specific question, which definitely I will try to answer. Okay, so yeah, so let me continue. So what I was talking about, so this particular discussion, we are going to cover three angles. One is the architect angle, another one is the technical angle, another one is the functional angle. So I have been fortunate enough because as I said, that I started my career as an ABAPer, and then I moved to MDM and then MDG. So I have been always in the side of advantage to understand the technical part as well as the functional part, and now I'm playing the role as an architect, senior architect. Okay, so I will basically cover all these points because that every point is important, because at this moment what I understand in this gathering, we have a lot of senior people. Some belongs to core functional area, some belongs to core technical area, So not only the functional or technical, also they might be thinking to project themselves in future as an architect, as a solution architect. So that also will help them. Okay. So let's do one thing. Let's proceed with a small presentation which I have prepared for this particular purpose. Okay. So today we are going to talk about the overview of SAP Master Data Governance. Okay. And in this particular discussion, we are going to talk about what is S4HANA, what S4HANA is offering, what are the business process we can really run with MDG, and what are the additional functionalities which we can receive in MDG, and how it really help to the business. Okay. So the first thing is, so these are the things which we are going to talk about, like introduction of MDG, MDG functional overview, MDG capabilities, MDG data modeling and extension, MDG custom object and extensibility, MDG process modeling, using body in MDG, data replications, MDG, some of the advanced features in MDG, data quality management in MDG, and question answers. So, so first of all, we need to understand that why we need MDG. That is the first question which comes in mind. Why not any other tool? Okay. So over the period of time across the industry, whether it's a retail, manufacturing, defense, agriculture, healthcare, whatever the industry you can see, one message they understand very well. That is, master data is an important, okay, and it has a very interesting role to play in growth of business. So for an example, like if I give a very common example, uh, that is there is one outlet uh, which sell basically the daily products, like some cooking stuff and all these things. And what happens that they have us customers from a different spectrum of the society, and those customers, if they don't collect the information of the customer data in future, if they have any specific product, if they have any specific promotions, if they have any expansion plan for the business, they will not able to connect to their customers. Okay. So that's what master data is important. So in this case, the customer data which you collect, the customer name, address details, the basic informations. So these are the means the complete database of the customers, what kind of purchasing history they have. Okay. So those information will help you in future to connect with those customers if you have a similar kind of a product to introduce, or if you have any discount of the product or any business growth plan. Okay. So in order to do that, it's not just about the data collection. It is also important that to utilize the data in a specific manner. Then only you can utilize the data in a proper business growth. Okay. So MDG is really helping you in this. And that's the reason people are using MDG. Now, first of all, let me help you that uh, data governance, when we are saying that data management and data governance, SAP MDG is just one tool. Similarly, the other vendors are also offering such kind of tools like Informatica. Informatica is also having Informatica MDM. Oracle is having Oracle MDM. IBM is offering IBM MDM, etc. So those tools are also very popular tools. Okay. and they also manage a similar kind of exercise for data management and governance. But still, SAP MDG is much popular over them because it has a very unique features. It offers a lot of unique services which you cannot get the other tools like IBM MDM or Oracle MDM, etc. And because of that reason, it became so important now for all the customers. Okay. So in this particular tool, we are actually managing the data, we are actually governing the data. Okay. And particularly that in this, by using this tool, we can manage material master, business partner, including customer and vendor and finance master. There can be also a possibility to manage the custom object, but mainly most of the projects, these are the master data which we deal with. Okay. Next is that this MDG. MDG is just an application. Okay. And how MDG works. So basically MDG, earlier it was MDG on ECC. Now it is all S4 HANA. Okay. You know that SAP's ultimate goal is to sunset ECC at some point of time and then move with S4 HANA. So nowadays, whatever you see in our discussion also, whatever the servers we are providing, whatever the MDG systems we have, these are all on top of S4 HANA. Okay. And even on S4 HANA, we have two things. One is the on-premise, another one is the cloud. So again, there is a benefits of having on-premise, and there are specific benefits of having cloud. That also we are going to discuss whenever the opportunity comes. So this is a very on top of the things why MDG and why MDG is so popular and so important for the business. Now MDG functional overview. So as I said, mainly for BP, finance and material. Business partner. So always remember that whenever the S4 HANA comes into the picture, then the additional concept it comes with, that is BUPA concept. What is BUPA concept? BUPA concept says that in business partner, when you look into ECC, customer means customer, vendor means just a vendor. Even in ECC also you have a business partner concept, but not necessarily that you link with the business partner with your customer or vendor. Okay, but in S4 HANA it's not like that. In S4 HANA we have a BUPA concept, and in BUPA concept it says that whether customer or vendor, ultimately it linked with the business partner. So business partner is the highest level hierarchy, and the lowest level hierarchy will be the relevant ERP customer or ERP vendor. That's the BUPA concept. So whenever we are saying business partner, that means it is inclusion of customer and supplier. Okay. Also, as I mentioned that this is also this MDG having different processes like create, change, mark for deletion, block, unblock, etc. And those different processes goes through a certain approval. Basically, what happens if you are not using MDG? Then what happens? Then you are going with a very traditional way of practice, doing the things. Like you want to create one material, so you need to get the approval from the different department, whether planning, procurement, sales, finance, and then after having those mail approvals, ultimately you create your material data. But as soon as you are using MDG, you are not doing that. Rather, you are following a single window approval process, which makes your life easy and transparent. The data will be transparent and user friendly. Okay. So basically, You submit your request, that request will travel to procurement, planning, sales, finance, and then ultimately, based on the approval, the master data will be created. Okay, so these are the benefits which you have of using MDG. Okay, and then ultimately, once you create the master data, then of course you basically replicate that with the proper integration with the several systems. It could be SAP system, it could be non-SAP system, and it's a real-time integrations. So basically you have a material data and you need to maintain the inventory management, the live inventory management. So the live feeding happening through this data synchronizations. Okay, so these are the functional benefits which we have. The next thing is, what are the capabilities MDG has? Mainly, we have three things in MDG. One is the extensibility opportunity in the master data. So let's say you create one master data. Okay, you create one master data, and this master data you want to change in future in order to addition of one sales area or addition of one additional plant, etc. Then how you are gonna do that? So that is something which can be happen through the change or extend process. Similarly, the same material you want to mark for deletions, or you want to do the block unblock activities, or you want to do some archival activities, that also you can do through the processes. That is one thing. Second thing is identify the duplicate records. Data audit. That is the most important thing. You have a lot of data, thousands and lakhs of data, but unfortunately 80% data is incomplete and duplicate and not ready in use. Then what is the benefit of having them? So whatever the data you have, it has to have the proper audit trail, and based on the audit trail, you need to identify that whether these are the duplicate records, these are the incomplete records, or these are not the appropriate records. So you need to correct them accordingly. Okay. The next thing is, of course, the data replications. So the replication is happening from one to another system. SAP, non-SAP systems are involved, etc. And the another part is that is providing the advanced governance process. So when I'm saying governance process, it includes the approval process, it includes the addition of new functionalities like mass creations, mass change, which is we call it as a consolidation and mass processing, and obviously the data analytics. So these are the governance process. It has a very important role. The process data quality and analytics, it has a very important role in a data audit and to identify the 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 faulty records and make them records as a golden record, because ultimately your objective of the end of the day is very simple, that make sure my data is correct and up to date. That is my whole and sole responsibility. Then in order to do that, we need to do some exercise, we need to follow some processes. Now basically MDM, you know that MDM was the first tool from SAP regarding the data management and governance. And then over the period of time, SAP found that that there is a lot of changes are required, and that brought MDG into the picture. Now, from uh, designing perspective, MDG and MDM are more or less same, but from the process point of view, they are completely different. MDM is having different tools like console, data manager, syndicator, uh, you know, uh, mm, uh, but import manager. But MDG is completely different. They have something called, in order to build the whole framework, they have something called data model, process model, UI model, workflow, validations, derivations, replications, etc. So these are the activities we need to configure in order to address them, in order to build the whole framework. So the first thing is the MDG data model. So what is data model? So basically data model is nothing but it's a warehouse of the information which you are going to use in your framework. So whether it is a material master, then you need to use data model. If it is related to customer or vendor, you need to use BP data model. If it is finance, then you need to use OG data model. And then what you need to do, you need to look for the actual requirement, and based on that, you need to extend the existing data model with some additional entities and attributes and their relationships. Okay. And then ultimately the whole mapping and etc. things will be coming into the picture. Similarly, we have a custom object. So as I mentioned, primarily we use business partner, including customer, vendor, then material and finance. But apart from this, we still, the data model still support, the MDG framework still support the custom objects completely, out of this BP, and finance. So those objects also we can support them. However, most of the project they don't use custom objects, rather they use this BP and finance, and all it is required, that is to extend them as per the business criteria. Because every business is unique and they have a very specific criteria to deal with it. Okay. Now, these are the things what I'm saying, that MDG data model and its extension, MDG custom model design, everything what I'm saying, it will be with hands-on. Because remember, I learned MDG. You have to understand that from where I am coming. I learned MDG from the real-time project. So my motive is always explain the things with a specific example. Then it will be easy for me to explain, for you to understand. And moreover, as I committed, that end of this discussion, you must start MDG with the self-independent way. So in that case, the more go through these demonstrations will help you to get this understanding. Okay. Theoretical discussions will be there, but the most important part is the practical, because end of the day you have to deal with the MDG implementation or operations. Okay. Now coming to MDG process model, I think some of the new people join. Anandan, you have joined, but I'm sorry, I have just started the discussion, so probably after this, if you have any specific question, we will talk about that. Okay.
Thanks, no problem.
Yeah, yeah.
Please.
Okay, process model. As I mentioned, that we have a several processes like create, change, mark for deletion, block, unblock. These are the different processes. And those processes we develop by using the BRF plus business rule framework along with the rule-based workflow. Because the rule-based workflow is the advanced workflow, and it helps in a very, transparent way to deal with the approval process. Because one thing in MDG, we are not going to use any transactions in order to create or change or mark for deletion of the master data. Like for material MM01 or MM02 or XK01, XK02, no. Rather than that, we are going to use the change request, MDG change request. So MDG change request is just like a UI, one form. That form you basically fill, you submit, and then that form will start proceed with the different approval process. Okay. And in order to do that, we have a very advanced user interface. So we will touch upon in our discussion the user interface which is designed by FPM, Floor Plan Manager, and the UI which is designed by UI5 for Fiori. Because whenever you come to S4, NWBC is not able to provide all the options or all the benefits what you are actually supposed to get in MDG. Rather, you have to use Fiori. So Fiori will provide you the basic informations, the basic, the processes, etc., actions. Apart from that, you have additional actions like consolidation, mass processing, DQM, data analytics, and many more. Okay, so that's the reason user interface is important. And in user interface, also we are going to see that how you basically validate the data, and there are certain field property activities like to make some field mandatory, to make some field value hidden, respect to some workflow step number, etc., etc. Okay, to make some field read only, to make some field invisible for any specific workflow step. Okay, so these are the things. Again, it will be a complete hands-on, whether it's a workflow, whether it's a UI, and based on that, we will proceed. Then we will deal with the body. So this is completely technical part. So those who are coming from ABAP background, it will really help them. But that does not mean that other people will close their eyes. It is an opportunity for you. So, I have seen many people, they regret that I wish I am having experience on MDG from so many years, but I wish if I understand the technical part little bit, then there are some cases where uh, I need to stop otherwise. Okay, I have a dependency on my technical guy. So because MDG is a techno-functional module, it is neither you can say it's a completely core functional module, nor you can say it is a core technical module like ABAP. No, it's in between. So it's a techno-functional module. So that's what you have an exercise on functional area and you have an exercise on technical area. Okay. So basically, body used for two purpose: to validate and derive the data. Now, what kind of validations, what kind of derivations, probably these are the things we will discuss whenever the opportunity comes. But for now, I'm telling you for validations and derivations, basically in this particular chapter, we are going to talk about two things. One is the service body, another one is the rule body. So service body also having different items like email notification, rule context preparation, dynamic agent selection, and parallel processing. And what are those things? So email notification means by name itself to notify the user who initiated the request, and after completion just notify them. Secondly, dynamic agent selection. So once your change request start traveling for approval, so dynamically it will reach to the individual for approval. So let's say for an example, Mr. X and Mr. Y, these two person, Mr. X will receive the approval if the request comes from the western part of the India. Okay, I'm just giving one example. So if it is divided, the entire business divided into the region specific, and Mr. Y will give the approval if it is coming from eastern part of the India. So if this kind of a segregations you have in business requirement, then that will be deal with the dynamic agent body. Okay. The third thing is, which is parallel processing. So parallelly deal with the workflow. Okay. And the finally, under the service body, you have one more thing, that is rule context preparation. That means based on some conditions, if you want to divert your approval process, then the rule context preparation will help you. And then apart from service body, you have a rule body. Under the rule body, you have cross entity derivation and single entity validation. Now again, these are the things which I just spoke about. Every item we will have a hands-on. Okay. And then you will understand that what are the differences you have. Not everybody you are going to use in your project. Maybe you will be required to one or two body out of it. But if you understand that what are the use of those body, then it will help you to guide your technical person that look, this is my functional requirement, and in order to deal with the requirement, you have to go with this particular body. Then that will be helpful. Okay. And then you have MDG replications. So replications, we are going to deal with two things. One, replication with IDOC and replication with SOA services. Okay. So which cases we are going to use IDOC, which cases we are going to use SOA services, that we are going to discuss in detail. And also apart from that, we will have like a value mapping, key mapping. So these are the things in order to communicate MDG and the external system. And then we will also talk about some advanced features like mass processing, data analytics, um, data consolidations, etc. with hands-on, by the way, not just technical or theoretical, sorry. Everything will be hands-on with some example, some data. Okay. And then data quality management, how you basically deal with the data quality management, how data quality management can be linked with consolidation and mass processing. So these are the things which we are going to talk about. Now, before I open the floor, I have one more thing to quickly talk about. So this slide was basically for giving some information from very top of the things, right? Now, this is exactly which we are going to follow in our actual discussion. So every topic we have divided into some specific chapters. The idea is because MDG is so tightly integrated module with each other item, if you don't separate them, it will be difficult for you to understand. Okay, so that's what we have separated those items just for a better understanding. First is MDG introduction, which will be a kind of a fundamental chapter where we will talk about the purpose of MDG, what are the architecture we have with the various deployment options. We will talk about the business frameworks, and then we will talk about the out-of-box configuration. What is out-of-box configuration? It is a prerequisite configuration before you really start with data model, process model, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Then you have a data model. So in data model, first we will develop one custom data model. Then we will talk about the standard data model, and then we will start with the enhancement. So in enhancement, what are the things which we are going to do? Add custom field in BP or finance data model. Add custom entity type in BP and finance data model. While doing that, we will cover up some additional topic like CVI, customer vendor integrations, and the general model concept. So these are the concept with hands-on. Always remember with hands-on. Secondly, process model. So different type of processes, we will see how to configure them, and obviously custom process to configure them, and many more other things. UI model, as I mentioned, there are two things in UI. One is FPM, floor plan manager, which support the launchpad, which is NWBC, and another one is the UI5 component, which support the Fiori launchpad. Okay, and both of the things which we are going to discuss here. Apart from that, we are also going to enhance the standard UI model in order to add or remove some entries. Not only that, also we are going to do some field property activities, like as I mentioned, like to make some field like a gray out, mandatory, invisible based on some workflow steps, etc. Okay, these are the things. Again, it will be a hands-on. Then workflow. Workflow is totally custom process. Every organization is having a specific process to follow, specific workflow process to follow. So we will be designing the workflow by using the rule-based workflow along with the BRF plus. And here we will also understand the concept of change request, the approval processes, etc., etc. Then we will talk about the validations and derivations. As I mentioned, that under the validations and derivations, we will talk about the service body and the rule body. And under service body, we have email notification, rule context preparation, dynamic agent, and parallel processing. Where under rule body, we have single entity validation and cross entity derivations. Okay. Then we have search and duplicate check. So basically in this chapter, we will try to understand how in S4 HANA, the MDG searches are using particularly HANA based search, and why it is so important than the other searches like database search or enterprise search or remote key search. Also, we will understand in this particular chapter the configuration of the duplicate check and how we can really do that for different modules like BP, and finance. Then, as I mentioned, that in replication, we will talk about replication like through ALI-doc and SOA, the DRF, data replication framework. We will also talk about the data import framework, but mainly in this particular chapter, we will focus for import activity consolidation and mass processing. Apart from that, we will talk about file upload, file download, key mapping, value mapping. And finally, in the enrichment chapter, we will talk about data analytics, Fiori configurations, DQM, and some interview question answers. So these are the topics which we are going to cover in our discussion. Now, if you ask me overall how much time it will be required, overall around 25 to 30 hours it will be required to cover the entire thing. It will be plus minus, of course, depends on the situation, etc. It will be mostly weekend session, okay, because weekend everybody will be available. So based on my timing and based on everybody's timing, it will be decided. But it will be definitely weekend. Every weekend, like Saturday and Sunday, each day, more or less 2 to 3 hours we spent. Okay. and then you have rest of the week to digest. And of course, in the meantime, if you have any questions, you can reach out to us for any specific clarifications. We will have one remote system which we will be provided, that will help you to design the things based on what we discussed in our discussion. Second thing is we will have one SharePoint access based on specific chapters. Like we have these chapters, based on specific chapters we have a folder. Under the folder we have a different reference document available. Some document, SAP document, of course, some documents which I have created for a easy understanding. Okay, so these are the document which we will be access. Then most important couple of things before we open the floor. First is whether I'm coming from non-SAP background, or I'm coming from a core functional background, or I'm coming from a core technical background, whether I will be able to cope up the things. See, as I mentioned, that MDG, first of all, it's a techno-functional module. Secondly, that you have a different career path in MDG. Either you can go with the MDG functional, or you can go with MDG technical, or you can portray yourself as a MDG architect. Okay, so there are many people who entered into MDG from non-SAP background and then now working successfully in MNCs with a functional or architect. Technical little bit difficult for them because they are completely coming from the different world, understand the ABAP and then pick up the things. I'm not saying it is not possible, but it is difficult path. But MDG functional, of course you can do. It is ultimately the same application which probably you are using Oracle or IBM, MDM or something else. It is just a similar application, just the options are and the processes are different. If you understand those processes, then end of the day, ultimately you will achieve it. And particularly those are coming from the core functional and the core technical ABAP area. Obviously, it is an important module for them to enhance your skill. Okay, you can continue rest of your life with ABAP skill, but just think ABAP with MDG flavor with increase your market value. Okay, similarly, you can continue rest of your life with the core functional module like MM, SD, FICO, but inclusions of this will increase your market value. Okay, and finally the another question is, that is, I want to do the certification, whether with this I can clear the certification. First of all, I would say you open the certification syllabus and you open this particular agenda. I'm sure 90% or more will be same. Then what is different? The different is our approaches. Our approach is a technical approach and the practical approach. Every chapter we are actually focusing the practical part more. But when you focus on the certification, it is mainly the theoretical things which you need to deal with more. I'm not saying that I will not talk about theoretical. Without theoretical, you will not even understand the particular thing. Okay, theoretical is important, but again I reiterate this point. My focus is after completion of this, one can start their career in MDG individually. Of course, things will come with the experience. When you will put your hands into the hot water, then things you will learn more, and that will make you mature on this area. Okay, experience on this area. That is different thing. that you cannot get in 25-30 hours. Okay, that requires some really hard work. Okay, but certification, why I'm telling you, I don't want to give you any false commitment that if you do this you will clear the certification. I unfortunately I don't have that tablet. It's you who can clear the certification. The knowledge will be same, the topic is same. Probably the there you need to focus on more theoretical things, and here we are more focusing on the practical things, but end of the day it's the same. Okay, I cannot for certification you don't need to read something different data model, and for practical you don't need to do something else in the data model. No, ultimately it's the same thing, it's the same data model. Okay, so that thing I really wanted to clarify from day one. So there should not be any false hope. Certification and something which we are not committing, it is completely your, we will definitely help you to clear your if you have something to really understand from us or etc, but no commitment from us. Okay, so these are the things, and I think I have covered most of the questions. These are very common questions. Okay, whoever comes into this MDG world to step in. So, yes, now I open the floor, and if you have any specific question to discuss, let's do that.
Hi, Aditya. Vishal here.
Yes, please go ahead.
Thanks for your presentation. I want to ask mainly on the body side, right? Though I'm coming from the EBAP background and I'm kind of, uh, I mean, I have experience in the same area. But when it comes to MDG, how different, from the normal conventional part of body? Is it the similar
No,
thing that we
it's a
do in the
same.
normal
Basically,
SAP?
ultimately, it's a object-oriented app. It's the same
Right,
approach. So ultimately, you are using the body, which is ultimately impacting on your MDG services. That's the only difference. Otherwise, the approach is same. What you use in normal GUI in SAP, it's ultimately same thing.
you're right. And I'm sure that when we talk about MDG, right? So we are talking about, I mean, I think now it is 1909 or something, right? So the most of this
Okay.
one we will get as a
The
SAP
version
standard.
which we are using in our discussion,
Hmm.
it's the latest version, which is 2023.
Okay, okay,
Okay. Yeah. So let's make it clear.
okay. I think this is the latest one also, right? 2023.
This is the latest one. Yes. But we are using on-premise. We are not using cloud. That's
Okay,
the only thing. But I will help you to understand the differences. Okay. Not much
okay,
differences. These are the business tricks from SAP. Okay. So, but I will help you to understand the clear differences between on-premises and cloud.
right.
Our server is still on-premise.
Hmm.
In future, we will
Yeah,
definitely look for a cloud transformation.
okay,
Let's see. Yeah.
sure. One more question, a small question I have around the replication model, as we have, I think, BRF plus and DRF. These two are same or they are different?
No, 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 no. BRF is business rule framework, which is mainly deal with the workflow along with the rule-based workflow. It's a completely different thing. And DRF is data replication framework, which is related to the replications from MDG to the target system. So the target could be ECC, S4, or non-SAP. So they are different things altogether.
So what exactly is BRF and BRF plus? I mean, these two are two different things, or
BRF plus,
same?
BRF or BRF plus is same, but I'm talking
Okay.
about DRF, data
Yeah,
replication
yeah.
framework. Yeah,
Correct, correct.
DRF
That
is the
I
replications
understood.
and BRF plus is the business rule framework plus. It's a
Okay.
it's a rule. It is creating for the
Workflow rule based.
replication. Sorry, you are creating for data workflow with some rules. Okay, so based on this rule, your data will go from X to Y and then Y to Z for different approvals. That's the main purpose of BRF plus.
Okay. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, thanks.
no problem. Okay, any other question from anyone?
Hello Aditya, this is Anandan here.
Yeah, go ahead, go
Hello.
ahead. I'm listening. Go
Okay,
ahead, go
okay.
ahead.
Actually, regarding this MDG and simple MDG, both are similar, or it's both are entirely different.
What do you mean by simple MDG? It's only
Actually,
one MD, master data governance.
okay. It's kind of like an implementation guide with a. It's kind of separately. It's separated from MDG. I have one of my friend told a simple MDG is there. Anything is like that?
No, there is nothing like that. It's a
Oh,
MDG. Yeah.
okay. Okay. Thanks.
Okay, I can see there is one more person who joined. Amit. Hi, Amit.
Hello, sir. Good evening.
Hi. 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 So probably you missed the session. You need to go through the recording.
No problem, sir. No problem.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. No problem. Okay. Any other question from anyone?
Hi Aditya, Shankar here.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
So I'm completely new to SAP. So currently I'm learning that SAP S4HANA sales as a functional consultant. So I'm currently learning. So will this MDG be a option to learn now itself, or better to learn after like 1 or 2 years of
Yeah,
experience?
Shankar, I think answer this question, right? So those who are coming from non-SAP background, so absolutely they can step into this. And trust me, you are not the first person. There are many people who gone through, who went through this particular discussion, and now they are part of reputed MNCs and they are successfully dealing the role. Okay, so it's all about how you are giving the focus on it. The way we will, for you, I would say, for some time you have to blindly follow us. Whatever the processes we are, discussing, you blindly follow. And at some point of time, you will understand, okay, you will have a confidence within yourself that you will understand, okay, now I'm able to pick it up. Again, I repeat for you, probably MDG technical will be tough. Okay. So initially, first you focus that you will, project yourself for MDG functional consultant. Then slowly, once you have a good understanding, works some years on function as a functional consultant, and then slowly learn ABAP side by side, and then you can, of course, go with the technical consultant. So there is nothing impossible. This is just an application. You don't know that application and you just start learning and then you will understand this application. Okay?
Okay, sure, sir. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
yeah, no problem. Any other question from anyone? Okay. So if there is no question, I don't want to hold you. Uh, so I would request you to collect those informations from coordinator and whenever there is a opportunity, we will definitely connect and will discuss in a very detailed way. Okay. And Amit, unfortunately, you missed the discussion, but no worries. We have this recording. Please go through the recording. If you have any specific question, then please post your question to coordinator. We will try to help you to answer them. Okay.
Ji sir, no
Thank you so
problem.
much. Thank you. Okay. Bye bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye.